Hey guys, Bruno here with another episode of Flight Tech Talks. Today we're here with Tommy Lee from Fanvil. We're going to talk a little bit about some intercoms or door phones as some people might know it.
Yes.
And today we have the i62, 63, and 64.
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about these intercoms, what some of the features they have here. Obviously we see some with a lot of buttons, some with not so many buttons. So what can you tell us about these guys?
Yeah, this is an expansion line of Fanvil. You know, one of our core products or our common thread amongst all of our solutions is having a SIP endpoint. A lot of us know us about our phones and this and that, but an expansion of phones, the same SIP protocol can be used to communicate to many different peripherals within a building.
Sure.
And one of the things that we're marketing pretty well is the fact that with the i6 series, we've taken that same SIP technology, ruggedized them for an outdoor usage. So one of the things that you may not feel in the video, but these things weigh a pretty good amount. They almost weigh like a brick a piece. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that this is meant for outdoor usage. You know, it complies to ruggedized specification IP66 as well as ICASE 07, which is really an industry standard that dictates how much abuse they can take. Mm-hmm. You know, in an IP66 perspective, you know, I've seen tests in our own labs where you could take hose and just literally spray at it and make sure that they actually run. But where these things do, as opposed to communicating in a desk operation, these things operate up front in front of either an office building, as your office building is, or within a house or a residential case where you can go ahead with either a single button, 5 residences, or in a case you could actually have a keyboard that provides many different options for a person to enter. And the things that are less obvious is the fact that they also support an RFID card. Mm-hmm. Nothing proprietary to Fanvil, but it does operate with many of the industry standard RFID cards, so you may be able to use what you're using. And in addition to that, it also has a camera. And that camera is something that provides video. So what it does to not only business environments, but also to residences, they can see whether or not, you know, the delivery person has given your package to you and all that. And you can see a lot of these videos on the other video that we put together on those phones that have the video conferencing in them. Sure. You can actually see that and operate this thing within that environment.
Sure. So that's pretty interesting, right? So, I mean, this is essentially, you guys are taking a VoIP phone and putting it in this kind of case here, right? So that's why some people call them door phones.
Yes.
And I mean, that's the main thing, right? Is that this all operates on SIP protocol.
That's correct.
Right? So all the configurations you're going to do, you're going to log into it like you would a SIP phone, a regular SIP phone.
That's correct.
And then be able to configure it that way. So I'm assuming if I press this button, there's going to be something pre-configured in it to call somewhere. How does that usually work?
Absolutely. For those in the phone industry, like you see in many of our phones, they have function keys that you can actually push the button and it can do several things. It could operate as a speed dial, or it can serve as like an action URL. It can actually go out via URL and commit some actions. And with these things, with these different buttons as well as key codes, it'll enable it to call one or many different controllers that are out there or a particular tenant and provide a one-to-one protocol. You know, one of the nice features about this is that not only will it work like a phone under a pure SIP environment, but they could also work point to point, meaning that if it's an enclosed system and it's only used by that one apartment or within the same network in the complex, you can go from this machine to other machines and just communicate, you know, from one point to another without a need to complicate the systems using a PBX.
Okay, and like you said, I mean, there's they all have like the card reader.
Yes.
Some of them, the first one there, the 64, actually has the ability that you can punch in a code. That's what we have here in our office, right? So we punch in our codes and then hit a key, and the door opens for us. The entire line of intercom or door phones, they have the ability to open doors. Right?
That's correct.
So you're not only going to be able to see what's going on, have somebody kind of say, "Hey, I'm here in the front door," but remotely trigger the doors to open with them.
That's correct.
Okay.
Internal to these devices, there's like 1 or 2 relays that are inside because some entrances actually have have two doors that give you like a little bit of a corridor, and you can actually control when these doors are open, closed, and during the times it's closed, then you're going to need a key access, such as these codes that kind of get you in there, and it's all function. And as well, you can have a log that's either logged inside of these things through a memory card, or you can interface that log into a third-party server where you can keep track of who's coming in and out of your building. So it could be as secure as you want to, or as open, like in a case of a retail environment, you have a situation where you could program these things to be open between 8 o'clock a.m. and it closes at 6 p.m. And then after that time, it automatically clicks on, and then anybody that could enter afterwards will require a card.
Well, that's cool. So you can actually do a sort of automation that it says, leave the door open during this time, but then after this time, leave it closed and only access with the card.
That's correct.
Got you.
Yeah, in addition to that, I mean, there are auxiliary connections to this. You know, take example for people that, that are wheelchair bound, right? They can go approach a door, they can push a button that all of a sudden has an indoor click so that it allows the door to automatically open, and this can actually control that. Obviously, this would work in conjunction with the mag locks that most of the doors have. So it'll open up, but as well, it provides relays that you can connect different types of sensor alarms, so when it knows a person's approaching the door or pushes a button, and in case someone needs like a wheelchair to go out, it could also entertain those features as well.
So the button would be outside of this, or would it be a button on here that we program for that?
No, there are actual control pins. So inside here, beyond having the Ethernet connection, there are actual control pins that you can connect wires to, that you can run behind the walls, and ultimately on the inside of the office, you can have a place where it just says open, and then if a person enters and clicks that button, it can do several things. You could either set off an alarm, or what you can do is actually have it open a door all by itself, so that they can then get in and out of the place.
Gotcha.
and work as what most people don't pay attention to when they're leaving an office building.
Gotcha. So it's not just in itself, right? It seems to be some automation you can do, some external things you can connect to it, and kind of configure it in kind of whatever scenario you want.
That's correct. In fact,
having people access your doors. So
yeah, we actually made and worked on some third-party tools that make this operational with Teams as well. So Teams being a very large corporate software that people use for communication. If you happen to have it on your phone, you could actually download one of the parties that we have that can enable this to work on Teams. So if somebody rings a bell, you could actually ring and it'll call you, and you can see who's there, and they can go ahead and provide access into the doors as well. Them, and as well as some other third-party tools that we work with, which is constantly growing, that can provide those type of tools to give you sort of a remote access environment.
Sure. But all in all, I mean, there's definitely a lot of tools and stuff, but all in all, out of the box, you're ready to go with this, right? Just gotta log in, do some configs, and
absolutely. I mean, everybody has a different configuration. If you're using this in a residential, you want it locked all the time.
Sure.
If you're putting this in a commercial business environment, you want it open sometime between business hours.
Sure.
But everywhere else is different. But you can program that timing into it so that it automates that mostly, and you can get in and out. And with these fobs, you can have it via a credit card type format, or you can even have a key fob that hangs along with your other keys. You could just slip it, and it'll provide easy access going through.
Interesting. I mean, these are Ethernet-based device, IP devices. So all of them are able to be powered via PoE, I'm assuming.
That's correct. Yeah, you can run them through PoE. They operate very much as what the industry expects.
Sure.
You pop them in there, and once they're in, they're connected via your network. And, you can have this call an external delivery service if you want them to. But,
cool.
You can make them they could be as flexible as you want them to be, or be as restrictive as you want them to be. So, they are, in essence, many cases, a door access security, but they operate very much taking advantage of the SIP engine that's been there.
I find them very pretty, right? Very elegant, but they don't look like they should be put underwater, right? But like you mentioned, these are IP66, IK07.
Yes.
Reading here, -40 Celsius to 70 Celsius.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty crazy in terms of, something looking this good being that sturdy.
Yeah. I mean, we realize when we sell this, globally, there are some places that, that reaches well below 0 degrees C or below 32. Yeah. And when it freezes out there and you're out there, helping, kids in a parking lot or trying to get access to things, they put up with the harshest environments where, you know, you can go ahead and access these type of codes. It has to withstand the rain. All the things that Mother Nature put us through. And we have a home, but these people don't. And they have to live through that type of that situation.
You know, man, I'll tell you, we have the i64 here at the Flight Tech office, and I'll be honest, when I pulled it out and, you know, we started getting it mounted and stuff, some of the people in our downstairs department were looking at it and they're like, is that really supposed to be outside? It looks too pretty. But sure enough, you know, being here in South Florida, we've already had some rain come through, some thunderstorms and whatnot, and it's working great, and it works right through it. You know, people running in through the rain, punching in their number and getting in, and it works perfectly. So
absolutely,
congrats on you guys making a very sturdy device and very elegant device in the same time. You know,
appreciate it. Yeah, one of the things that we're doing, I mean, this is sort of our baseline model. What you might coming out seeing later on in this year are models that make a far more expansive feature. You know, we may be beta testing soon. Of course, you'll have access to these things to provide to interested partners, where if they need things like facial recognition, things like an expanded menu, because very often in a multi-dwelling environment or even a multi-office environment, you know, people don't know, and they could actually look it up on the screen, or in the case of beyond just keys, if you go there frequently, it could recognize your face and open up the door just on facial recognition as well. So those items are coming down the line. In fact, you know, we're going to be bringing those things to market sometime in early 2024.
Awesome. Excited to make a video on that whenever it's ready to go.
I'll be more than happy to bring those things up. You know?
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much for spending the time here explaining the Intercoms, the i-series from Fanvil to us, and we look forward to some new products coming out as well. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.
Appreciate your time.
Hey guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get the latest from Flight Tech. Thanks.